Dam! Rob Van Dam! Rob Van Dam! I'm Rob Van Dam. The whole show.
From Battle Creek, Michigan, weighing 230 pounds, RVD. Oh, my arm's cut off. Somebody cut my arm off.
I cut your arm off.
Dude, look at this fucking sausage fest.
Big time sausage party going on right now.
Not the usual kind of get together we have at the Van Dam household.
Nope. Just a bunch of dudes hanging out. It's like a college frat party going on right now.
Against the rules normally.
Yeah, right. Too many dudes. The girl ratio has to be a little better.
Yeah. Usually there's one penis allowed, and that's mine. But we got some guests here, and we were just talking last week. Somebody, who was it that asked? Wasn't it Jem the Don asking about wrestling schools in Las Vegas?
I think you're right. I think it was Jem the Don. Yes,
I think so. And we said there's the FSW, which a lot of people are familiar with, and then this Sin City Wrestling, it just opened up, right?
Sin City Squared Circle.
Sin City Squared Circle.
SCSC.
So from Sin City Squared Circle, we got
Ariya Daivari,
Darius Martin,
and Jordan Oasis.
All right. Yes. And Ariya was telling me you guys, and Cheerleader Melissa was on a couple weeks ago, and she was just plugging the school earlier. And so when did you guys come up with the idea to start the school there, Ariya?
Yeah, so I actually moved out here right when I got released by WWE. I moved out to Las Vegas, kind of wanted a new start in life, just try something else. And my brother Sean was out here too. So I moved out here, and one of the things I was doing back in Minnesota was the academy with Ken Anderson and my brother, which was the wrestling school before my brother moved out here. And I really enjoyed it. It was really fun. And Darius over here was actually our first star student. In 2 years you were signed at MLW, or 1 year? Yeah, like pretty quickly. So like I said, when our first star student moved out here, I thought no better person to do it with. And then Jordan I was training with regularly at FSW. And the three of us just kind of started powwowing and decided we wanted to give it a try and try our own school out here. So that's kind of how it all came to be.
And you guys are all living here anyway?
Yeah, we all live here. Like I said, I think you mentioned, Future Stars is the one school out here. So,
and then besides that, didn't the Beast have one, or this was
like a low key?
He had one for a little bit.
Is that the one in the mall? Or no?
No. That was a different one. That was a different one. They shut down and stuff a while ago. But Beast had one, for a little bit too. He had his training compound for a little bit there, yeah.
So now it's pretty much just you guys and
FSW. Yep, that's it.
Cool.
Yeah, that's it.
And where are you guys located?
Yeah, so I'll kind of tell you about the facility, give it a little rundown.
Yeah,
so there's a 10,000 square foot CrossFit gym called Camp Rhino, which is right next to the airport, like 2 miles off the airport. And also connected to them is an American Ninja Warrior gym, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with the TV show. There's crash pads, acrobatics, all that shit all over. There's this giant gym. And then they have a back room as well, too, which they gave to us. So the actual facility itself is a CrossFit gym, an American Ninja Warrior gym, and a pro wrestling school in the back. And we're all sectioned off. We're not in the gym or anything like that. We have our own room, air conditioning. Everything's private in there just for the pro wrestling. But if you go to Camp Rhino, you just kind of walk through their gym, and our wrestling school is right there. So the one thing I really like about it, it truly is a one-stop shop for pro wrestlers. You literally have a gym, a wrestling ring, and this American Ninja Warrior side, most wrestling schools have a crash pad or two. They have 17 of them, different sizes. And we spoke to them. We're like, can we borrow a couple of these? Yeah, of course. Have whatever you want. So we have everything.
Literally, it's like a storage garage unit. That's all it is. You open up the door, and there it is. It's like a little ring, and then that's all we have right now. So,
but that's cool.
Yeah.
And you're pissing outside, aren't you?
Yes, pissing outside, no bathrooms.
Yeah. See?
And one outlet in the whole fucking thing too. It's kind of nuts. But so how's it go in the process to Ariya and Darius to set up a wrestling school? When you where do you get the confidence to be like, all right, I'm going to start my own and see how it goes?
Like he was saying, there's kind of only the one competition in town, the FSW, and we were just kind of looking for an updated facility because they have a good program, but we wanted more of an all-around program where a lot of workers would feel comfortable coming in and training, and it'd be something new to offer to the scene out here because I feel like that's been around for forever and it's cool, but we're looking for something a little more advanced of a product to try to get people to that next level.
What do you guys think is the big aspect that's really missing from a lot of talent on the indie scene that they really do need to learn if they want to grow and become like a bigger star and a better pro wrestler overall?
You know, that's kind of tough because I do feel like audiences are all different. Like you go to some promotions and like if they do death matches and hardcore stuff, then, you know, that's how you have to wrestle. If they do a lot of like high flying stuff, or if it's a lucha company, you know, you got to do lots of lucha. So I think that's kind of the one, you could say the tough thing or the good thing about the indies is there's just so much variety. There's just so much variety to choose from. So if my one advice I give to wrestlers, just find what you do best, whether it's deathmatch, whether it's lucha, whether it's, you know, old school wrestling, and just train your ass off in that. Like I've been wrestling 20 years, he's been wrestling 10, you've been wrestling 10,
11, 12 years,
11, 12, and we're training every week still. Like I think the most important thing is like continued education to become a better pro wrestler. The only time I don't think you need to be training extra is if you're wrestling 250 days a year, like how wrestlers used to. But if I'm not mistaken, I don't really think anybody has that schedule anymore, not as much. So I think the next best thing you can do is, again, continued education, find a good wrestling school, find the craft that you want to perfect, and just stay at it every day. Like jiu-jitsu black belts who've been doing it for 20 years, like still train all the time. So I figured, you know, as pro wrestlers, like we need to keep sharpening our craft and keep getting better with it.
So who trained you 20 years ago?
Who trained me 20 years ago? My brother, Sean Daivari. And there's a wrestler back in Minneapolis, Minnesota, very talented guy, the anarchist Eric Cannon. I believe you've met him before. He trained me. He trained you as well, too. And then Ken Anderson helped out as well, too.
Okay. So something I wonder, but I think I know the answer just because times have changed. I'm guessing that the training style is a reflection of the way that other schools are today, as far as like the students now are going through everybody else's moves, every cool move that they dream up in their head. Whereas when at least I don't know about with you, but probably when we got trained, it was all just grabbing and squeezing and reversing and going to the mat and trying to pin them. And
so that's actually one thing that we made sure to have lots of space for, is that we have lots of amateur mats on the floor. So we actually want to work a lot on like grappling. The
students would be bored now, I would imagine, if you said, "Now go back, show me the headlock, fuck the Frankenstein."
Well, I'll tell you this: my tag partner Tony Neese, he trained at NYWC, he was trained by Mikey Whipwreck. And he said, I think it was like almost like a month or so before they got in the ring, he said, we just did a bunch of stuff on the mats. We did.
But what about you guys?
No, I think my training was kind of just get in the ring and start doing this stuff.
What about Sin City Wrestling?
We actually discussed potentially waiting a little bit before putting them in the ring. And again, because there's a lot of stuff you can learn on the floor. So your lockups, your common wrist locks, hammer locks, like all that kind of stuff, you're not bumping, so you don't necessarily need a ring. But we're still trying to figure out exactly where we want to be strict about it, where we also want to kind of be, because I always say like wrestling's evolved, and I try not to fight evolution too much, or else sometimes I think you might get stuck in the past and
lose.
Yeah, right. So I always say like I do think you have to move a little bit with the evolution of it while still doing our best to instill old school thoughts. And that's also why we do want to book as many seminars as possible. Like, we're not trying to say we're the end all be all of all wrestling knowledge. We have learned from other veterans, and we want to share that as well. Like we want guys like Jerry Lynn, guys like Christopher Daniels. We want to bring in, these are guys who work backstage at AEW. I mean, if you would ever be willing to come in and do a seminar. So we're always trying to find people from the generation that we grew up watching, because that's who I learned from. So that's why I want to continue giving to these younger kids coming.
Right on.
And you guys are currently accepting applicants are open, right? Applications are still open and everything, right?
Open to all experiences. I know there's a lot of talent out here in Las Vegas already that are already trained, but we're going to be doing advanced classes and training people from scratch. Scratch, I think, will be more focused on the basics and making sure they get all that down. Obviously, we're gonna like look for that in the advanced talent as well, but with the advanced people, I think we're looking on sharpening the details of the people out here on the scene.
Yeah, and a lot of us too, like we bring a lot of different things to the table too. Like Ariya and Darius have their experience the way they do. I actually started training in lucha libre first before I even learned American psychology and kind of that style. That was a couple years later that I did that. And then another one of our coaches, Sonico, he is a luchador, you know. So everybody brings a little bit of something different to the table, which is awesome because, again, going back to what Ariya said, it makes it almost, kind of a one-stop shop for what you would need to be a pro wrestler, especially in today where everyone does mix these styles. And, you know, it's a beautiful thing. So we just try to be a one-stop shop for that too.
So when I joined a wrestling school, it was December 1989. And I had to sign a very onerous contract, you know, that said if I even talked to any other promoters, you know, I got to run it through Sheik. He wanted to be very protective. If I was going to say, hey, Sheik trained me, then he didn't want me to go learn bad habits from working out, you know, down the street and getting, you know, going down the wrong path, being shitty, representing him. I get that. And I had, I think it was like a two-year deal where I would be under his umbrella and have to go through him first. And of course there was a tuition of $2,000. And you know, he would take any payments. He'd say, whatever, if you can only do $35, just bring me something next week, you know? And I was like, all right, cool. And chipped away at it. It couldn't have been cooler. How different is that now? Because I remember years ago finding out that it was actually Bill Anderson's school, that they were doing like $25 for a day with no commitment at all. And it blew my mind because for a lot of reasons. But where do you have to fucking land on that?
So we as all the owners sat down and kind of discussed, you know, we obviously do have some friends here in Las Vegas who we feel okay to come use the school. You know, when we're there, we can all just kind of work out together. And they're also good training partners for us. But we are going to be pretty strict about who gets to just come in. And, you know, we've already been kind of vetting people. And I don't know if we necessarily just want to take everybody's money. This isn't a cash grab. This is more of like a passion project. Like we love wrestling. We want to continue to do this. It's not something we're just trying to take people's money. And I think some wrestling schools are just like, oh, just take anyone. Like we're actually trying to like train quality people and hopefully one day send them to a AEW or New Japan or WWE, wherever their, you know, actual goal is. But those are the type of students we're looking for, people who want to actually move on to the next level. And so that's kind of the way Sin City wants to navigate that.
So did they sign a contract?
So they do sign a contract, but it's more of a payment contract. I do like people to continue to get other education elsewhere. I'm not anti-learning from other people. So it's not going to be any sort of like owner's contract like that, but more of a contract that you're going to at least pay us your full tuition regardless if you continue the training or not. Because, you know, I always make this known, like, hey, pro wrestling's really fucking hard. It's really fucking hard. It hurts a lot. Like, a lot of people do show up and think like, oh, because this isn't real, then all of this must not be real. But like, I implore anybody who's thinking about being a wrestler, like, go get in great shape, like hit the treadmill, hit the weights. Like, this is a real athletic endeavor, just like if you're joining boxing, you know, jiu-jitsu, anything like that. Like, it's a different kind. It is a performance art, but it is very highly athletic, and it's tough on your body. So I say, like, just be prepared.
Yeah, I think our first class at the academy had 100 signups because he did a deal, and probably 70 people dropped within the first month, honestly. And I think maybe there's like 5 of us that are still working.
And it wasn't anything to like, not trying to run people out. A lot of push-ups and squats and taking bumps and stuff. And like, you'll realize, or just even running the ropes. Every time people get in the ring, the first comment is like, oh, these ropes are really hard. Like, like, yeah, they are.
Yes, they're super
Yeah,
fun.
a little bit.
Everything we do hurts. Like, those padded turnbuckles, they still fucking hurt when you get thrown into them. So
whenever I get asked what I think people would be most surprised about that they don't know about wrestling, and I always think of that, was that the ropes are. When you start out, you're bruised, and you have to build up a tolerance to it. And people never guess that. They would think, of course, hitting the mat probably hurts, and
they're like, obviously, what we do with the ropes is we bounce off them. So people always go, "Oh, if it's something bouncy, it probably has some like give to it." But like, nah, these are just cables and like rubber tubing. Yeah,
which, if you don't know, WWE uses nylon rope.
Right,
still,
they do, yeah.
I've always preferred the cable. You can jump higher. ECW, that was my favorite ring, and I could get so much more height just because I knew the cables, they'd like snap my weight at the right time. And with the ropes, they're made more for bigger guys, and they're not as much for jumpers, even though the style's changed a lot now, but just, for anyone out there that doesn't know. And I can remember in Sabu's backyard when it was he and I training, and he had said he had gotten the ring, taken it down from Sheik's backyard because Sheik was gone for a while. I guess he was sick, and I was like, dude, what the fuck? Felt like I was getting ripped off or something, Like, did I pay this? And then, 3 weeks in, we're not training now. What the hell? And he was like, well, I mean, we can work out in my backyard if you don't mind. She's not going to be there, but I'll work out with you, any day you want to. And I was like, yeah, fuck, let's do that then. And I remember the first time I came over to his house, and he had the ring set up, and he had the cable so fucking tight. There was no give. You would run into it, and when you hit it, you would just stop. You would just like, oh god, oh, that's too much. And he was like, yeah, I probably should loosen them, but they were so fucking tight that instead of bouncing it, it was more like just running into like one of those metal parking fucking railings or something. Yeah, so. That's steel for you.
I would say it's funny that we sell the turnbuckles that are padded, but the ropes are the one that actually fucking hurt. Fuck. Yeah, that's the one that actually hurts.
Yeah.
Ariya, you've been in both the WWE and AEW rings. What's the difference between the two that you notice the most?
So like Rob said, the ropes, that's the biggest difference. WWE uses actual rope, which I do know they're much tighter now. They had I don't springboard nearly as much as you do, so I thought those ropes at the time I got there were still pretty firm for rope. But the thing I learned about them is that no matter what, those ropes stretch out over time. Like I could be guessing, but maybe after a couple months they have to replace those ropes all the time. Where I think the tube and the cable is much more durable. So especially because we were asked that when we were getting our ring, they said, "Do you want like the WWE ropes, or do you want?" And I personally just said I wanted to have whatever's closest to an AEW ring because that's the ring we work in. So we wanted something similar to that.
That makes a lot of sense too. Yeah.
Sure. But I don't know. Like I was saying earlier, like this shit all hurts. Both rings hurt like fuck.
Right.
Neither one's soft. Like they both hurt.
Now, are you guys going to also be teaching like kind of like promo classes or kind of character development with certain talents and everything like that?
Yeah, we'll definitely be doing a little bit of that and stuff, and focus like a healthy balance of both, honestly, because we're trying to train people in the basics of wrestling, but we're also trying to like lead them towards getting character down. So at the end of our program, we'll feel comfortable signing off on people and being like, oh yeah, this person's a really good hand. Hey, you should book this person. We're making connections with other independent promotions where we feel like at the end of our program, they should be kind of not a completely finished product, obviously, but like definitely comfortable enough for us to sign off on them.
And like another thing we're going to do is we are going to do tons of seminars. Obviously, we have a lot of, luckily, a lot of my coworkers at AEW have been seeing the school and being like, oh, we want to come do a seminar. So we got a long list of people from AEW want to do it. But that's the nice thing about booking seminars is I want to book people for different reasons, bringing a guy who's a promo guy, bringing a guy who's a good tag team wrestler, bringing a heavyweight, bringing a high flyer, bringing a luchador. Like we want to obviously bring in all types of people. So when I think about that, Mark Sterling has been really asking to come do a seminar. I'd love for him to come do one because he's a great manager and he's actually a very good promo too. So I want him to come talk about the importance of promos and, being a manager, being a character, being a good heel. He's a fantastic at that, And then we book somebody else at a luchador to come show cool high spots and, flips and stuff like that. But so that's where I think we will help navigate these students becoming all-around wrestlers by the type of seminars we book and just the different type of world we get them in.
Yeah, that's great to get like a diverse group of kind of talents, and and as you mentioned earlier too, you're always learning as a wrestler, so it's like you can pick and choose from whatever fits that person, that individual, and stuff like that. So that makes a lot of cool sense too, for sure. All right, summer is here, and guess what? That means the sun's out. Boom, the guns are out too, and you want to look good, you want to feel good, you want to look nearly perfect. Nobody's perfect, but guess what is? The Perfect Gene. Heck yeah. And we are happy to have them back as a sponsor here with One of a Kind with RVD, because guess what? No lie, 100% a fact. The Perfect Gene is my favorite pair of jeans I have ever owned. I got the Joker Blue, and I wore them forever, and they lasted forever too. That's whether I was on a bike, I was going to work, I was on a date, I was at an audition, anything. I'd wear the Perfect Gene at the perfect time. And you can too. And we got a special deal for our listeners, as always, here at One of a Kind with RVD. Our listeners get 15% off their first order plus free shipping at theperfectgene.nyc or Google The Perfect Gene and use code RVD15 for 15% off. Feel perfect, look perfect. You're nearly one of a kind. Jordan, give us a little background about you too, and fill us in like where you came from and how you kind of developed and got into the wrestling business a little bit too.
Yeah, I'll speed run in, give you the bullet points. So I started at a school called Lucha Libre Volcanica up in the Pacific Northwest. They were based out of the Seattle area, and that produced talents that ended up going to IWRG and CMLL actually. So I started there right after I turned 17. Shout out to my mom for getting me my first pair of wrestling shoes as a birthday present. Shout out to her for that. Love her. But yeah, I did that for a couple years, and I was really looking for. Before that, I was like, I remember being in the back in the church emailing Devon Dudley about going to Florida, and I was 14. So I was really just itching to get started as soon as I could. And so luckily I found that lucha school, but then a couple years later, he just had a very specific way of doing things and didn't really want to advertise and wanted to see who would find him. But I started training at the Buddy Wayne Academy, which everyone knows Nick Wayne, his dad, and that also produced Darby Allin, Invictus Cash, a lot of great talents. From there, I started training there in 2017, and then fast forward after getting reps in and traveling and doing that kind of thing, I moved out here to Las Vegas in 2021, and that helped me a lot. That ended up making that move and taking that leap opened up so many doors for me, being able to travel a lot more. I've been to Southeast Asia so much, like South Korea is like a second home to me. Malaysia, Taiwan, places like that, Canada, Mexico, of course. But yeah, from there that I ended up being with WWE ID for a bit. So being able to be a part of their, their program and learn from those coaches and stuff out of there, the names, the Fit Finleys, the Terry Taylors, it was a great experience. The end of last summer, I did get cut from that program, and, but I learned so much, and I do love teaching people, and I still love professional wrestling. Again, I've been doing this. I know I'm only turning 29 this year, but it's crazy to think that, or even say out loud that I've been doing this my entire adult life. That's insane. So I'm sure that I will always be a part of professional wrestling in some way for the rest of my life, and getting the chance to share that passion and have with like-minded people, and then coach like this new generation, this new wave, and help them prep, and they get to learn from our mistakes and kind of almost speed run, right? It's very hands-on thing, so you're gonna have to get your reps in, but where we'll be here to guide them and help them be the performer that they want to be for whatever their goals may be.
How often will you guys be running classes a week? Like, what's going to be your typical schedule going on for students coming into your guys' academy?
We're doing Monday through Thursday. Now, one thing we do want to put out there, obviously, me and Darius do travel a lot, so we will have kind of a rotating. we'll have our schedule out, months in advance, but there will be times where the coaches will obviously be switching up if we're on the road or, but if we continue our normal schedule, which hopefully doing like collision stuff like that, which is still on the weekends, Monday through Thursday is when we plan on doing classes, because eventually we want our students hopefully out there working on independent shows. So they would probably need Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. And I believe most schools are usually closed on the weekends to let their students go do independence and stuff like that. So Monday through Thursday is the plan.
That makes sense. Yeah, total sense. Awesome. What else was I going to ask you? The aspect of overall, what kind of advice would you give? Oh, yeah, this is what I wanted to ask you. Reading in the press release you guys had a couple months ago, I saw that like you guys put like safety is going to be a big priority for you guys too. What kind of foundation do you want to give to upcoming new people getting into the business of what they should understand about like being safe, like starting off in the ring?
I mean, for starters, like the biggest thing I preach to every new wrestler who I meet is like, this job is a very important responsibility, because you've heard so many wrestlers say it, like, I'm putting my life in your hands, you're putting my life in my hands. And like, I need to make sure that I know how to do all these moves properly, not so I look cool, not so I get 5 stars and all that kind of stuff. The most important thing is I need to be properly trained so I don't hurt my opponent. That's I think one of the worst things you can fucking do. So that's the biggest thing I want to teach is like, just know these basic foundational things and learn them well. And always in your mind, think I need to know these things well to take care of my opponent. And you want to look cool and do sweet moves and all that shit too, but
not hurt yourself too.
Yeah, not hurt yourself as well too. I was hoping that's a given, try not to hurt yourself. But like I said, there's just some moves that require a lot of trust in your opponent. So that's a big part of it. There's like, hey, I know it sounds so silly because it's just pro wrestling, but like this is a very responsible job. You need to be very responsible in what you're doing when you have your opponent's life in your hands, The other thing too that I mentioned earlier, because we have access to all the stunt pads and all that stuff they have in the American Ninja Warrior gym, they told us we can use that as much as we want. So when someone wants to try something, like, again, times have changed a little bit, but like you ain't gonna get called a pussy for wanting to try something on the crash pad first, like do it on the crash pad, learn it safely, and then we can think about moving it to the side and taking it in the ring. But we have so much like stunt pads and all that kind of stuff, even for learning dives and stuff like that. I know a lot of school, like we have wrestling mats on the floor, but we also have crash pads we can put there. So you want to learn a tope, Undertaker dive, all that crazy shit, like you can do it safely before you start just sending it straight onto people at indie shows, which 9 times out of 10 is going to be like concrete floors. So like I said, we just have access to a lot of the American Ninja Warrior stuff. The stuff they do over there is pretty damn dangerous. So that's why they have a lot of pads and stuff like that, because they want to teach everybody this stuff safely, because people want to learn that American Ninja Warrior stuff to go on to do it on the TV show. So they teach everybody how to do that stuff safely, and we have access to literally all that equipment. So just really making sure that people feel comfortable taking moves, giving moves, having a soft place to land on when you're first trying shit out, jumping off the top rope, diving to the outside. And then once we feel comfortable and we think, okay, you can perform this safely, we can move that shit to the side and actually give it like a live round.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I mean, like,
Dom, was it on the show or was it off the show? Someone asked me, I can't remember. I think they said the question was about being a referee, but it could have been about a manager. But I think they were saying to be a referee, they asked, do you have to go to a wrestling school and learn how to be a wrestler? And I said, of course not. But then to follow up, I didn't really know what to tell them. I said, I know I've seen some schools that offer special classes like for a referee or even a manager. I don't know if that's traditionally what you do, to get into that kind of position, a non-wrestling on-show personality, but,
so we have actually had a few people inquire about that, about being managers or referees, something like that. And one thing I want to put out there is there's actually a handful of referees who I think tried to be pro wrestlers, and someone just maybe said to them eventually, like, I don't know if this is working out for you, but hey, if you still want to be part of the show, try being a referee. And they've had very successful referee careers, and you can still be a part of some really big shit. So I do sometimes think that's kind of how you might find a referee or two, just someone who wrestling might not fully work out for them, so they can try this instead. But also,
like who? I'm trying to think of a referee that was a wrestler. I could think maybe Mickey J. I don't know if you know him because he was like
He
so
was
long
a
ago.
WCW referee, Mickey J.
Mickey J, he was WCW.
I know for that, but I can kind of picture maybe he might have wrestled, but
So I was kind of thinking like from the academy, like there was a couple of kids like Clark was one of them, and there was another kid named Ron Page who used to be a wrestler too. So I guess I was thinking more on like the indie level. Some indie referees I've met, like, oh, I used to be a wrestler, but now I'm a referee and stuff.
Gotcha.
I do know for a fact Mike Posey used to wrestle though. I don't know what his reason was for stopping, but he actually was pretty like decent. He did like Ring of Honor and stuff. He did a lot of cool things.
And to my understanding, there's actually a couple referees in WWE. Like I think sometimes they find referees. I'm pretty sure they find referees out of the NXT tryouts, which are like wrestling tryouts, and I think they offer some people.
Yeah, what was their name?
Jessica Carr.
Jessica Carr. I have a friend, Vinny. He's from LA. Like he got scouted at the Las Vegas tryout. He's been a ref ever since, and now he's on Raw and SmackDown doing his thing. So, I personally think that being a wrestler, or at least training to be a wrestler, helps you understand how important being a ref really is. Because in a singles match, there's a third person in the ring, and that person is so valuable. And so when you learn kind of how that works and how matches go, and you learn how valuable that third position is, it adds another layer rather than just I trained to be a ref. So we've discussed that too, is at least knowing something you're probably gonna have to take a ref bump at some point. So knowing stuff like that, knowing timing, knowing spacing and all that stuff too, it definitely contributes to being a ref, I think.
Yeah, keeping out of the way too. I learned that when I took the one bump in Vegas. I was like, I took a punch and then I did not go out of the way, and sure enough, I got another bump for my efforts.
Another one I'll say, the guy who manages us in AEW, Smart Mark Sterling, like he was a pro wrestler. He was a pro wrestler for like 10, 15 years, long time. And now he's found his role of being a manager, and he's done it very well. And like he takes fantastic bumps, and he's great with his timing and everything. And we can give him actually some pretty elaborate spots from, hey, we need you to run around here, hop up here, do this, get bumped by this guy. He can catch dives. So like it's kind of cool because he's a very well-trained wrestler, but now he's just a manager. But he can do some really cool shit. He's taking the J Driller from Mark Briscoe. Like he does some pretty wild shit for a manager. So there is a benefit to like, hey, try being a wrestler, learn every aspect of the business, even if you're not a wrestler, because it could benefit you in other parts as well too.
Oh yeah, it just makes you totally well-rounded for sure. Some people are dropping some classic referee names here. Danny Davis, another one.
I thought of Danny Davis from Art Foundation. Was he a wrestler before?
Yeah, I believe he was. Yep. Yeah, they follow up. Danny Davis tried to be a wrestler in WWE in 1987, and he was a referee and then tried wrestling, but he was the chicken shit heel, and it did not last long. So
okay, yeah, he popped in my head.
Oh shit! Actually, he did a spot with my brother in TNA, Shane Sewell, or I believe.
I remember that name. Yeah.
He was like, they're doing a gimmick. My brother kept like bullying him, and then one day he like fired up on him, like beat his ass and did all this shit. And then my brother's like, oh no, he was just a wrestler from Puerto Rico forever. And then like TNA as a referee, so like he was another wrestler turned referee. I don't know if that was just for that gimmick or if he was actually a referee, and then they just came up with this angle because he was a worker. But that was another one.
Yes, Scott Armstrong, one of the Armstrong brothers. Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Yep, he became one. Somebody said too, Pat Tanaka was a referee before he was a wrestler too. How about that?
And I'll say this too, I do know a lot of guys do like just random, like they're not supposed to be referees, but they just ref matches because they're new. Like I know my brother refed a few matches before he had like his first actual match, so there's always that as well too.
Yeah, that definitely happens. I know too. I want to say Jake the Snake actually did that first too when he started, but I'm not positive on that.
Shane McMahon, McMahon refed a few matches.
Yeah, that's right. I think you're right too.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where if we thought about it, we'd be able to start naming more and more.
Well, somebody wants you guys to name this. Maddie wants you guys to name. This has been an ongoing thing that's been asked in the chat for weeks on end, and I've never addressed it yet. Maddie said, would you rather live next door to the Addams family or the Munsters?
Probably the Addams family.
Yeah, it's an Addams family.
Frankenstein, right?
Yeah.
I ain't trying to be right.
Right, that's the Munsters. Frankenstein's the Munsters.
Yeah. The Addams family.
Yeah.
The Addams family? Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob, what about you?
Which one had the hot, normal looking girl?
The Munsters.
So maybe I haven't heard next time.
Yeah, I chose the Munsters too because I think Herman would help you with the yard and stuff like that if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
That was the dad's name, right? Herman?
That was the dad. That was the Frankenstein dad. All right, and then here's another question. These are regarding managers.
I wanted to see the fucking animal under the steps.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They had the animal. That's right.
It was always, you could hear it, and it'd be off camera, and then talk to it, throw shit at it. But it was never on camera.
How about that? Jeez. Let me see here. The other question that was asked was, Maddie also wants to know, Rob, what did the Sheik and Sabu teach you about kayfabe?
What kind of question is that?
I don't know.
Vague. That's so vague. Everything. Well, let me put it this way. The number one rule back then was to protect the business first.
Mm-hmm.
And that had a lot to do with kayfabe. Kayfabe was one of the strongest shields of protection for the business. It meant talking about it. It meant exposing it by doing a spot that you shouldn't be doing because everyone sees the setup and it's a no-go. It meant fucking your work had to be in tight, close so people couldn't see it. Back then, it was a closed-door society. I always relate it to the mafia because the wrestlers that were making their livings at that time, they swore like a brotherly oath and what went on behind closed doors and on the road and shit when they were together wasn't to leave the dressing room. And they believed that they made their living off of people buying what they were selling. So it was a cardinal rule, and it was a destructive thing if you were going to not protect the business in any way. And so it had everything to do with everything. The Sheik never smartened me up ever when he trained me. Yeah, so this is when I went to school, there was never ever one time where this is the right way to land so you don't get hurt, or this is how to hit your opponent but take care of him, or this is how to. There was none of that. It was always more grabbing, more squeezing, more jerking around. You could not be rough enough with each other, and we knew amongst ourselves that we had to work together to an extent to get anything done. But to make him happy, we had to really be convincing that we were trying to beat the other guy. Right, so right. I mean, anytime somebody's shoulders were down and we weren't jumping on him, he would say, "What the fuck are you doing? He's pinned. What are you doing? Get on him!" And so there was that pressure, but that was drilled into my head. But the Sheik never dropped character and talked like another wrestler. We weren't sitting at the dinner table ever where he stopped being intimidating. Sure. And would all of a sudden say "Oh, the girls I fucked, Rob. Wait till you get on the road." None of that shit. He'd be like, "What are you looking at?"
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. He carried around his briefcase, never would let us in. We tried to look in his briefcase one time, and he caught us and slammed it shut, and we ran like little kids out of the dressing room. So
did you ever figure out what was in it?
No, but Sabu said it was that he had his flame papers in there and stuff, and his blades and shit, and he had it open, and it was sitting on the floor. and he was talking to Abdul the Butcher. This was like my 4th show, I think. It was 90. It was so long ago. And she, Sabu and I came to the dressing room. We were like, look over there, hey, let's see if we can get behind him, whatever. And we were just like trying to like sidestep it to get behind him to get a look. And like soon as we like got like kind of near, he just went bam, slammed it. What are you looking at? He took off running. So
how old are you guys then?
I was 19.
19, damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction. Yep.
Sabu was like so subservient to Sheik, looked up to him so much. One time, and this is a story that Sabu told me. I didn't see it, but it's so funny as hell. I can't remember what he did that got him heat.
Yeah.
But when he got back to the dressing room, Sheik was sitting in his chair and his hips were hurting him, and he said, "Lay down on the floor so I can kick you." He said, "Get down there, lay down there," and he laid down. Yeah,
that's awesome.
He's committed.
Right. He was always there for advice and shit. But when you ask what he taught me about kayfabe, it was a complete lifestyle for him. It wasn't, just like with Sabu, people that want to pretend that they were friends with will say like, yeah, I used to give Terry a ride from the airport. He didn't like to be called Terry by anybody, so I already know you're full of shit, Yeah. And that's because he was the Sheik's nephew, and he was very, very much like him in a lot of ways. So he taught me everything about it, but a lot of it was in the work and believing in the moment. I was doing an interview last week, Montel Williams interview that'll be coming out.
Oh yeah,
coming out on the 4th. But he said, was there ever a time in the ring where you were hurt, but you felt like you had to keep going? And I said, yeah, but not the way you're thinking. Like you would think from some of the stories the boys have told at the office to make you keep going. For me, it was the commitment, because I was in the mindset of you have to think, well, what if I was out on the street?
Yeah, right.
I couldn't stop.
Right.
And so you have to think that way because you're in front of all these people and they want to take it to see this happen. If you can keep going, you fucking keep going, And so anyway, that was in the ways that Sheik taught me about kayfabe. It was a whole lifestyle. It was the way that he trained me, I'm old school enough to be sad at seeing it wither away. Yeah,
obviously, and obviously it's a different generation for all of us and stuff like that in comparison. But do you guys kind of toe the line and kind of find a good balance of when to kind of do a little kayfabe stuff and when not to when you're outside of the ring?
I mean, it's super tough. I mean, I feel like with the internet, it's kind of like I always do this. I do my best on my own personally to keep a certain level of kayfabe that I would like to keep personally, but some of my favorite wrestlers of all time are, all my favorite wrestlers of all time are doing interviews talking about it. So if they're doing it at this point, then I don't know. I think the cat's kind of out the bag. The toothpaste is out of the tube, can't put it back in.
There's all this behind the scenes, whether it's online or there's specials or whatever. There's so much behind the scenes stuff now,
right?
That just it's a lot of pulling back the curtain.
Yeah, I personally was not a fan of what's it called,
Unreal. I still have not watched it, and I won't.
Don't get me wrong. There's been so much footage in Gorilla and people after matches and stuff. That's nothing new. We've seen that, but this one went a step further. That was just kind of ugh. But again, I guess everybody now knows already. But I don't know. I guess I was very conflicted about that, and that felt, I guess, a little bit like the old school wrestler in me. I wasn't. Yeah. I was watching it, and I was like, this stuff. I just don't like it. Whether it's right or wrong, I personally just don't like seeing that much of it.
Yeah, so. I'm young, but at the Buddy Wayne Academy, he's very, very traditional and very So I picked that, unfortunately I didn't get to learn directly from him because, he passed right before I started there, but I hit his students. I learned from him and his students, again, from Darby to Big Jack to, Carl and Invictus Cash and all these, they passed down his knowledge and his beliefs. And of course, Nick and Shayna, Shayna, she still had that old school mentality for sure. So I definitely picked some of that up,
Yeah.
And kayfabe was a part of that. So seeing the curtains get peeled so far back is, it makes me feel some type of way.
I'll say this, so right now on this podcast, we are most likely talking to wrestling fans. And when I'm doing interviews online or if I go live or whatever, lots of times it's wrestling fans who are the ones tapping in. So they kind of already know. So I guess the kayfabe I keep up is when I'm just, talking to just normal everyday people who aren't wrestling fans and they want to know about my job and all that kind of stuff. That's where I'm like, well, this person doesn't even need to fucking know what there's no reason to break it down to this person. So that's where I like to keep up my kayfabe. I go, if you're a wrestling fan, if you're an AEW fan, someone who watches wrestling podcast, I like to think at this point you're pretty educated and pretty in on it. So I guess there's no point in trying to fool these people. But
no, hold on, I'm gonna spray for the babies.
But like I said, if I just meet someone every day in person, oh, you're a pro wrestler, that's that fake stuff, right? I'll do my very best to not confirm any of that shit, that derogatory shit.
Yeah, for me, I feel like when outsiders hear kayfabe or feel like they're getting shown behind the doors, whatever, there's a detachment from reality for me, because I think that totally ignores some of the shit that I've gone through in the business where, coming up, you're getting the shit beat out of you. You gotta prove your value to the other boys. You know what I mean? And you gotta pay your dues, and I mean, getting tested and getting stretched, and then just the whole hierarchy in the dressing room and dealing with that. I feel like people think oh, I know it's all a work. So they just think it's just like going to work, like them going to work at the office. But they don't realize that what a huge ego you have to be a wrestler. They even think you can do it, but then to back it up on a microphone and tell everybody why no one can beat you and why you're the best, and then fucking make your living doing that. And it's like, hey doggies, I feel like if they're smart, then they'll understand this. If someone says, "Hey, is wrestling real or fake?" I say, "Let me body slam you, and then I'll ask you."
Yeah.
Simple, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they should understand that, and that's real. That's just the truth. I mean, I wouldn't slam you any harder than I slam everyone else. I slam you the exact fucking same, and then if you can get up, then you can tell me. But I've heard too many wrestlers over the years defend the realism by their scars and injuries, which to me is ridiculous, because that just made you fucked up, right? They're like, "Oh yeah, look at my knees. If it's fake, I could be in a soap opera, an actor, and slip on set and fucking scar myself, and then does that mean that the soap opera is real after that?" You know what I mean? It's like, for me, it's not that makes it real. What makes it real is we're actually fucking taking all these moves, and there's no wires and shit. And if you don't think we're competing and that we all want to be the guy on top that makes the most money, then you're kidding yourself. There's that competition there. And there's decisions made off of that behind the scenes competition. I mean, everybody, you're taught, especially if you go to a wrestling school like Tough Enough, or if you come in through like one of those, you can see they're all taught, that there's 500 people here, one of you's going to make it. I mean, that's what they put in your mind. And so, that doesn't change. That doesn't change just because you made it. You still want to be the guy making the most money, the guy on top, the guy that gets all the opportunities, and so that's what you have to deal with. So it's so easy to disregard that when people think that they know how it works.
Well, the other thing is they talk about like the common saying, "You're only as good as your last match." So it's like it doesn't even really matter what your best. You just have to constantly be producing well, like over and over, because we always say you're only as good as your last match. So that one's in the past. What's the next one you're going to do? And yet they have to continually be good all the time.
Consistency is key.
Yeah.
Big time key. Yeah, absolutely. No doubt. Especially in wrestling, too. I always hear just like get your reps. I always hear Arn Anderson saying that, too. You got to get your reps in and stuff. Fellas, you already know what time it is. It's time to level up, and Blue Chew just dropped something crazy. I'm talking next level, championship belt, gold-plated energy. One of a kind, if you will. Blue Chew Gold is the newest innovation from the #1 chewable ED brand. This ain't your grandpa's little blue pill. No, no, no. This is the 4-in-1 beast that's setting the gold standard for performance. We're talking 2 ingredients for blood flow to keep that rocket pumping, mixed with apomorphine and oxytocin to turn up the arousal and connection in your brain and body. Blue Chew Gold dissolves under your tongue and works just as little in 15 minutes. That means you can get it on quicker and stay in the game longer. Elevation without hesitation. This is peak passion and peak performance in a single tablet. And we at RVD got a special deal for our listeners. Get 10% off your first month of Blue Chew Gold with code RVD. That's promo code RVD. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And hey, we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, like the unfortunate part, the guys can't wrestle 100, 200 days a year anymore. So that's where the importance of wrestling schools, I think, have really come back into play, because if you're not wrestling that often, then maybe you need to be training more regularly to offset that.
I want to ask you this, since like, being in AEW and how the landscape has changed when it comes to like how often people wrestle. Do you attest that to people getting injured more often, or where do you think the injuries are coming from more? So is it just guys and gals are doing a lot more risky stuff, or where do you weigh in on that, do you think?
Me personally, it's probably 3 things. One, there's just more wrestlers than ever. Like back when I don't know how big the roster was in WWE when you were there, like in the 2000s, but it's like quadruple the size now. So I think there's just going to be definitely just more injuries because there's way more wrestlers.
We had 3 shows a night.
Yeah, right.
A and C shows.
Did you? Okay. Yeah. So there's that. I think there's a lot more wrestlers, so we just hear about it more. I do think a part of it is guys not wrestling as often, because I can't remember who said it, but I think it was Stone Cold said in an interview. His toughest thing was timing, and I think that gets thrown off a lot, because like you get back in the ring and you're training, you take a few bumps, you're like, all right, like I can get back into this, but your timing of everything might be a little bit off. So I think that's another thing that could potentially the injuries. And there was one more thing I can't fucking remember.
I think it's just because everybody's trying to another reason to add on.
Oh, sorry, real quick. I'll just say, and the style. Yes, the style is.
Yes, that's exactly.
The style is far more acrobatic and high risk today, and that is what we want to see. But nobody's being forced to do anything high risk. Everyone who does the high risk, cool aerial shit, it's like because they want to. That's their style. That's what they want to give to the world. So let them. But just understand that comes with more risk, and the more risk might lead to potential injuries. But I think the wrestling we have today is pretty fucking sweet. Yep. So
you were saying exactly everything I was going to say.
It's kind of risk you got to take these days.
Darius, you did. Go ahead.
You were doing it before school.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't know. More people are getting hurt. It's a very physical job, obviously. I think if there are more people getting hurt, and just in general, if there's more fuck ups, it's because of what I always say. I think that a lot of people do shit that's out of their realm.
Sure, that too. Yeah. I've always been big on to hide your weaknesses, accentuate your good things, and don't try to stay in your lane.
Yeah, everybody wants to do what used to be special to certain people. Not like the Van Daminator. Not everybody can. can land it.
Right.
But everybody wants to do it, and a lot of people shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
So if they fuck it up, that's why.
My example is always like body control. Like I've caught a lot of flip dives, and like some guys are very like big and floaty, and like they touch you very lightly, and they can land on their feet.
Yeah.
And some guys, I'm just like a human crash pad for them. They're just a big block of mass just coming at you, and just rush you. And that's what I'm times where I'm like, hey man, I don't know if you should be a dive guy if you if you're just like full on fucking sending it. Like my life is just like. So that's one thing I think about. It's like, maybe that's not for you, it's for somebody else.
I do think with like the accessibility, I do think with like the accessibility of the internet and stuff, we probably just hear more about it. They're probably getting hurt like the same amount as back in the day.
Yeah.
But with that much more people on the roster and that easy access to the internet, I feel like more people hear about the injuries nowadays.
Yeah.
I think that's a great point. Yeah, absolutely.
Paid if you didn't work. So I feel like your generation, like, you had to wrestle through injuries because, like, wrestling, I do think everybody from top to bottom now is pretty salaried. It's kind of whether you wrestle or not, this is what you're making. But your generation had to fucking wrestle for every fucking payday.
That's true about what you said. Like now, just people have more accessibility to it because of the internet. Because like back in when Rob was like a kid, people were like so loose about their kids being watched and kids can play outside. They're like, we all made it. Everyone turned out fine. It's like, no, you just didn't hear about the kids that didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's a great point too. And Ariya, you said it too, like what maybe Steve Austin said, timing. If like that throws you off so much, and it's like anything like that can really trip you up and get somebody hurt too.
I always tell people like wrestling's a dance. Like you're kind of like you and your partner, whoever, you're working together. There's a certain like rhythm and cadence you kind of got to do together. And like sometimes if let's say one guy's been wrestling every single week for the last 6 weeks, and this guy's been off for 6 weeks, like his timing might be a little shitty, and I always say it's a dance, and when you're kind of misstepping little things, like not the end of the world, but when you watch it back, you're just kind of like, something looks a little off, and it's just not as flowing, and the rhythm's not as good. So that's where I feel like the timing. And then something as simple as strikes, someone who's really good at just like peppering someone's chin lightly, and your timing's off. You fucking deck them for real. You're like, oops, sorry, like haven't thrown a punch in a while. You just smash someone's face.
But I think that's also the advantage they had back then was like they had house shows for more reps. Yeah. It's kind of like a died down thing today, unfortunately, but you had more time to build the chemistry because a lot of the wrestlers would be paired up on house shows, and then they're trying to work on their chemistry and see what stuff works to get to the big show. And then when it is time for the big show, all of a sudden their chemistry is there and comes across as best as it possibly can.
I think it also just helps you too. Like even if you especially on the indies, like you may have heard of a guy online. Yeah. But like I've never met you in my fucking life. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like it's just like one of those things. Like I used to do Taekwondo when I was younger. I did that for like 7-8 years. You know what I mean? There's no way and no reason I should have the expectation of I'm going to training 4 or 5 times a week and sparring and doing my forms and all this stuff, and then I step away for 3 months and I think I could just hop into a tournament like I did 3 months ago. I'm gonna get my ass kicked. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna fall down. I'm gonna trip on a kick, or I'm gonna be late on some stuff because my timing is off. Me finding that rhythm of my opponent, whether I've trained with him day in and day out or I just met him the same day, it's gonna be off.
Yeah, it definitely was really off for sure. Okay, we got some more super chats. Dustin chimed in. He's been asking about managers the past couple weeks, and he's got another question for you guys. He says, I want each guy on the panel, excluding RVD, to choose one valet from ECW to be their mixed tag team partner against RVD and Katie. You have to tell me why you chose that valet you chose. So any ECW valet, let's start with Ariya. Ariya, who would be your ECW valet against RVD and Katie?
The first one that pops in my head would be Miss Congeniality. The OG.
Oh, nice.
OG Lita. Or,
OG Lita.
Or Jasmine St. Clair, but for different reasons.
I like it. How about you, Darius?
I didn't name Jasmine St. Clair.
The first person that came to mind for me, and mind you, I haven't brushed up on my ECW stuff, but the first person that came to mind was Daivari.
Daivari,
that was the first person that came to mind was Daivari.
Francine, solid choice.
Francine, yes.
Very solid choice. Yes, all of them good choices. I probably would have done Kimono Leia.
That was my answer the other day. You can't steal that.
Yeah. I'm stealing it from Rob. Loyal Rock fan asks you this, Rob. Hi, Rob. When you were in ECW, where was your favorite place to wrestle? Philadelphia or New York? Much love from England.
Ooh, don't make me choose, dude.
Yeah, right.
I will hurt a lot of my fan base if I answer that. They had a rivalry going, and they both wanted to claim to be home of ECW, and the energy in both places was, like, from my perspective, equally as strong. So I was always happy to be when in New York, preferably in the city, as opposed to out, you know, on Staten Island or whatever. I love fucking New York City. It's still, when I'm there now, it still feels like an ECW town. Like, just garbage man standing on the back of the garbage truck goes by. He's like, RVD. I'm like, hey. It feels the same way in Philly. So, you know, I would, the question was, where would I rather go, right? So I would rather go to New York City, I guess, if I have to choose, just based on the touristy reasons.
Yeah, no, New York's got that quite the hell of a scene, you know? Hell of a town.
We AEW did the Hammerstein. Like, we've done it twice now, I think, right? 2 years we've done it. It was my first time wrestling there, and they're like, and it was really good attendance and everything. I remember coming out, I go, why does it's not like packed like I thought it would be? And then Tony Neese, my partner, he goes, ECW didn't follow like the fire code. They just like fit as many people as they could as possible. And that's why I was there like that. He goes, like New York has very like strict commission and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, oh, like this is how it's like. This is how it should look. I guess ECW just packed it the fuck in as much as they could. I go, that's kind of cool, actually.
Did you guys wrestle? I know AEW had the residency at the 2300 arena, the ECW arena, for a little bit. How was that for you guys? Did you like doing that?
That was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really cool.
Yeah, the first time I did ECW Arena was for New Japan Strong, and then we went back there for AEW. Yeah, it was bad. I know it's like super remodeled and nothing.
Right. No, but I love it.
Yeah.
I used to be a shithole. Now it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And bar, I love sitting at the bar.
Yeah, the bar's awesome.
Yeah.
The giant ECW gimmick in the bathroom. Go sign it and shit.
Yeah, maybe they're letting too many people sign it. Everyone that was not anywhere near ECW sign. But you reminded me of a story that I don't know if I told this, but one time I actually, when you're talking about the fire code, there was a building where there was stairs that went way up, and me and Pee Wee, the referee, we would always find somewhere where we would go and we would smoke weed like for most of the show. And like on the second floor was where there was a balcony that overlooked the gym, and Paul, Dreamer, I think Bubba, whoever was sitting there. If you kept going up, it got really dark, right? And we were up there, you know, like I remember seeing them on the way up, and we're going up there, and we went all the way to the top, and I'm feeling around for a light switch, and I grabbed what I thought was a light switch and pulled it, and it was a fire alarm. And somehow it came off in my hand, and it's going, and it's like really loud, and I'm like, oh shit. And I couldn't like put it back in or stop it, so I just like ran back down the stairs and shit, and everybody had to evacuate the whole building. They all went outside, and the fire trucks came, and
Oh my god.
yeah. The funny thing that I remember about that is Paul just did not give a shit. Like I went up to him and I was like, I wonder what happened, and I had the thing in my hand and I was trying to show him like what happened, you know, and I'm like, you know, look, I don't know what happened, because I still had anyway, I was like, dude, I don't know, I thought it was a light switch or whatever. It's like, show us the shits anyway.
Do you know how many more matches are left?
No, I don't.
It was like second match it happened. Like, oops.
Right, yeah.
Oh boy.
Wait, not.
Yeah.
I don't know. But They might have restarted again later afterwards. I don't remember that either. But one thing that I'll say in the internet wrestling marks will say that I'm just saying this because these guys are here right now. But I've come to realize because AEW is surviving so long and they're sticking to what makes them different just by being themselves, I get like what they're trying to do and I know a lot of fans want to hear me say this, but it does feel like AEW is like the new ECW.
Yeah.
And not as much to me before because I didn't get it as much, but by continuously just doing whatever the fuck you guys want to do and just, marching to your own drum and making that your identity just by being yourself and by the fans coming to you to know the difference and knowing what to expect by a different product. And so I get it why the fans, feel that way.
Yeah, so like if we think about it, like one thing I loved about ECW when I was a kid, it introduced me to a bunch of new talent that I've never heard of. It introduced me to a bunch of guys from Japan. It introduced me guys from Mexico. It introduced me to deathmatch guys. It introduced me to high flyers like you. And I was like, kind of sounds like AEW. Like we bring in guys from New Japan, from CMLL. We have some crazy hardcore deathmatch shit and like syringes in people's mouths. And then we also have Will Ospreay, who's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. It's like we have all these things that ECW also had. So I don't know if that's maybe the comparison, but like I just like that AEW gives such a big variety and like pretty authentically too. Like I said, we're bringing in guys from CMLL, bringing in guys from New Japan, and the whole roster is mixing together just like it did in ECW.
I mean, I'm not a promoter, so I don't usually have to think about this way, but I guess it would be hard to keep it fresh without seeing gimmicky and bringing new matches without making them just gimmick matches.
Right, exactly.
Which is a style on its own.
Yeah. And then, that's credit to TK. He was a real big fan of all wrestling. Like he studied Japanese wrestling, Mexican wrestling, British wrestling. So that's why he kind of has his finger on the pulse of the guys who are doing all that good stuff today. So like he knows guys in CML. He would bring this guy's coming over. He's super hot there right now. Like I kind of just follow American wrestling because that's where I work. But he knows everybody who's super popular. And if we go to California, the guy he books from New Japan comes out and he gets a huge fucking pop because I feel like that state knows like Japanese wrestling really well. And it's just like he knows these things. And I think that was kind of like Paul Heyman and ECW. Like he knew what Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko were on the up. Like let's bring these guys in. So I think that's kind of the similar vibes.
You might know more about wrestling than anybody I've ever met.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of times wrestlers will be like talking to him and he'll bring up a match that they forgot they even had 20 years ago. So.
That'll definitely, he's like an encyclopedia, man. Anytime I'm on like the press conference calls and stuff like that, he's like rattling off things like, I never heard of that shit. Like, what is that? So,
I know he was at the RVD and Sabu stretcher match at the Philly Arena as a kid in the crowd.
Yeah.
He went to a lot.
I think I found him in the crowd too. I was like spotting, and he's like, I think he's the kid wearing an orange shirt out there, and because I saw his dad with him, I was like, I think that's Tony. I think it is. All right, another super chat here. Maddie asks, it doesn't ask this. This is just more of a statement. When you say you want to be a wrestler, people look at you funny. When you're famous, they want your autograph. People mock it. RVD is a great spokesman. So there you go, Rob. There you go. Thanks, Maddie. Appreciate that. And then Dustin asked this. Wrestling trivia. What female introduced table bumps for women into the pro wrestling scene in the USA? Everyone on the panel has to answer or guess, but RVD has to go last. I don't know who this would be. Do you guys know?
Making these rules.
They're so strict.
I'm making them rules.
Stand on one foot. No.
Stand on 1 foot while you guess, yeah.
That was my guess.
I was thinking Japan until they said in the US.
I thought it was Francine. No?
Some I feel Raven put somebody through it. Was it
Beulah?
I'm gonna guess Beulah McGillicuddy.
You gotta go last, baby.
Yeah, what's your?
I'm answering their questions.
My guess was Francine.
It was a Francine. I'm gonna say Beulah.
All right, Rob, what do you think?
Okay.
It probably happened on some indie show in like the 90s or something.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking.
Bringing indies in general, like.
I'm also gonna throw in Luna Vachon, maybe. She might have come through.
Yeah, she could have happened.
Damn, you know, one of the first times I can remember seeing a girl go through a table was Rhino pile driving.
Sandman's wife.
I think it was, well, it could, it might have been her. I was thinking it was maybe Dawn Marie. But,
We can ask Alexa. Alexa, who is the first female wrestler to go through a table?
Oh, Dustin, we got it. Alexa's gonna help us.
Mae Young was the first female.
That was like year 2000.
Remember we saw Bubba Bomber through a table.
Yeah, Bubba had that orgasmic face doing that shit.
I don't know if that wasn't before.
No, that was definitely not. Yeah, I would guess Peaches. I would think Peaches maybe.
You said who was your?
I said Peaches, Sandman's wife.
Yeah, that was a good guess.
I was kind of hoping this dude would have the answer.
I'm looking.
Oh, he's
I think the answer is Francine. He says Francine and the Pitbulls started the female table bump in 1996.
Okay.
Francine. So whoever guessed Francine, congrats.
Yeah, but Mae Young was before her.
Mae Young, way before. Cool. Let me see if we got another super chat. I just want to mention. Oh yes, Lexar wanted to ask you about this, Rob. They asked, I just want to know how Rob's back is. Anytime I've seen him in any recent footage, he looks to be holding it straight as possible, so it won't hurt. Is your back all right, Rob?
Yeah.
Okay. See, it's good. Well, there we
Thanks
go.
for asking.
Darius and Ariya, did you guys wrestle at the Mall of America? I forget.
No.
I wrestled his brother.
Yeah, my brother.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Which, a lot of times I fuck his name up, and I just want to bring this up because you all have like really cool names that sound like Greek legends. Because in my head, I don't know why, but I always go to Dimitri, and then Demetrius was a god a god in Greek mythology, and then but it's Dante, which I should remember because Dante's Inferno, which is a Greek mythology thing, and then with your name Darius, it's a lot like Icarus, Icarus and Daedalus, who made the wings and tried to fly to escape Crete and flew too close to the sun, his wings melted. So I've never heard those names. Were your parents fans of Greek mythology?
No. I think my parents named me after Darius Rucker, the country singer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No way, really?
Yeah, Hootie and the Blowfish.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh man,
I'm not sure what the logic behind Dante's name was.
How about that? And Darius is a big wrestling fan. Darius Rucker is a huge wrestling fan.
Oh, really? Is it?
Big time. Yeah. He wrote a column for Rolling Stone about wrestling just like a couple weeks ago, actually.
Oh shit! No,
Yeah, we'll have to check that out
for sure.
Yeah, how about that, huh? At least they didn't call you Hootie, Martin.
Yeah.
So there we go. Cool. Anything else you guys really want to plug too? Like the school sounds awesome. You can take in applications right now. And if you guys haven't looked to at the bottom, you can go and check it out. The email address is below. But give us some more details. Any pertinence you guys want to cover with that?
I mean, I think the things that stick out to me personally are like, I'm pretty sure that we have the only 20 by 20 ring on the entire West Coast for training. And you can step into an 18 or a 16 or whatever it is. I learned this when, I started doing extra work at AEW, and when I was, my time with WWE. That extra distance, man, that'll fuck you up. that'll fuck you up. Whether you misstep or, you go to take a hurricanrana and you're like, oh, the ropes are farther? Yeah. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? But so then you go to, on the flip side of that, you're used to a 20 by 20, and then you go into an 18 by 18. You're like, oh, I got all sorts of wind, and I can, the ropes are right here, and vice
And then
versa.
16 by 16 is way too small.
Oh,
It was tiny.
there's no way I'm giving you a suplex. Like there's no way. But we have we have the 20 by 20. We have this huge screen for tape study and watching stuff back. We have equipment so that you can film yourself. We have the lights for promos and to get everything lit up. We have the wrestling mats on the outside that we were talking about. And just
Crash pad access.
yeah, we have the crash pad access and things like that. And again, we're right there with a CrossFit gym. You know what I mean? Like,
They can have a website.
yeah, we do have the website. It's sincitysquaredcircle.com. And the email is SCSCWrestling@gmail.com if you guys want to hit us up there. DMs are also open on Instagram and Twitter. Sorry, it's not fucking Twitter anymore.
X.
Yeah.
X.
Yep.
What I did want to mention too, with the CrossFit gym being a part of it, is we have a really good partnership with them. We're offering discounted memberships through the owners at the CrossFit gym. Anybody that is paying our tuition, they're getting a discounted membership at the CrossFit gym if you're interested in that as well.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh, the other thing is too that I find not every, I feel like most wrestling schools don't. What we like, one of the things we pride ourselves on about this facility, but also like being able to train and like coach these people, is that we have a curriculum. And so you're not going to be walking in and okay, today we're learning fucking Spanish flies, or we're learning how to do whatever, and you haven't even hit the ropes yet. You know what I mean? So we're very excited and pride ourselves on having that structure, and really, again, building people from the ground up and making sure you have a solid foundation. Because if you can't pick me up for a body slam without killing me, we're not doing a Spanish fly. We're not doing a superplex. We're not locking up.
Right.
But some people are going to be at stage 0, right?
Yeah.
And then other people, maybe they're wrestlers that want to get a little more training in. Or whatever.
Absolutely.
And I think the more it goes on, I think we'll do like a beginner class, and then we'll have an advanced class. We'll kind of try to keep people grouped in the same thing.
Yeah.
That's the big point with our curriculum classes, is we're trying to do it for a certain time period where we're just focusing on the basics with those beginner people.
I think another thing too, that like a lot of traveling around the indies or just talking to younger wrestlers and things like that that are still just in the training phase and haven't even really debuted yet. There's you get to a certain point at your school or wherever you train, and then you feel like, okay, I'm ready for the next thing, and then it's like you catch yourself starting to plateau, and that can be super frustrating. And that's where and honestly, it's happened to me before, like years ago, and that's part of the reason, you gotta figure out something. You gotta get out, you gotta explore, you gotta go to seminars and all these things. So it can be frustrating as a student who really wants this and wants to make it their life and their career path, to feel like you're stuck or you can't progress as much as you want when you're wanting to learn as much as you can. So having that curriculum, and then also having so many awesome people come in, like you named, like people like if they're able to, like a Jerry Lynn or someone like that can come in and offer that experience. You're always going to be learning something new and something to enhance yourself. So if it is yours, starting at ground zero, whatever, or you've been training for 6 or 7 years, but you're like, I want to get better at this. I want to really improve. You have someone that has been in the business 20 years that sits next to boss man. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's very hands-on with everything.
I got a question. Me? No. Do you guys help them if they're at a point where they qualified? Do you help them get work?
So yeah, that's one thing I really wanted to emphasize, and I don't want this to be a thing where everyone goes like, well, they work at AEW, so if I go there, it's a shoe. It's not a shoe-in, not at all. However, if you're a good student, every good promoter in WWE, in AEW, in Impact, everywhere, they're always looking for new talent. This is an ever-going business, ongoing business. They're always excited to see new, fresh talent. So if we have any students, guy or girl, if we feel, hey, you passed the sniff test, you're worthy, you've had some matches, you've done a good job, yeah, of course, I will happily try to put in a word, get you at AEW, get you looked at. We still have connections with WWE as well too. I kind of want to see where a student wants to go. Everyone has their different dreams. It doesn't really, some guys just want to be the best independent wrestler possible.
Would it be circumstantial, or would you recommend that they go skip the independence and go straight to one of the TV companies?
So me personally, I think it's better to do some independence and kind of just. I think one of the best ways you learn is just by going out there and kind of falling on your face and fucking up and like just kind of learning from that. And I think you can do that on the indies maybe a little bit more forgivingly compared to if you just went straight to a WWE. I do think first impressions really matter. So if you go there and you're not a very good wrestler and you're under the WWE, AEW microscope, might be kind of tough for you in the long run. But
they're probably not going to be looking at you if you're not wrestling somewhere for them to look at you.
Yeah. And don't even look, there's obviously a lot of very young wrestlers today now in WWE, what they 21, 22 years old, like it can happen. So I do believe it's circumstantial. Some guys might come in and within 6 months they're knocking it out the fucking park, and some guys it might take a few more years. But we're here to help those connections, whether it's being the best indie wrestler possible, whether you want to try to go to WWE, whether you want to try to go to AEW, whether you want to try to go overseas. Like, we're here to try to help facilitate that as much as possible when said talent is ready.
I think that's one of the coolest things about like our coaching staff is he was in WWE, he's a producer at AEW as well. He's done New Japan Strong. We're both doing AEW and Ring of Honor still. He's former WWE ID. Sonico does AAA shows. Cheerleader Melissa did Lucha Underground, TNA, and Shimmer. So we have a little bit of experience in a lot of different fields with our coaching staff, which I think is one of the biggest benefits to training with us. That and another big thing is obviously the facility. The CrossFit gym and the American Ninja Warrior gym. Bailey did her Lodestone seminar last month at our school, and she was really stoked to have a CrossFit gym connected to it because she put the girls through a workout and then boom, there's a wrestling ring right there. Right. So she was able to do everything very efficiently, and it was really cool to have all those people in there and a lot of guests stop in and speak and see the facility. I think every big name we've had in the school so far has been nothing but complimentary to the facility.
Heck yeah. No, that's great to have that a gym right there.
We're going to.
Yeah, we sure are.
Hell yeah. Ariya, you might have already kind of answered this, but I'll ask it too. Will you guys kind of give them younger wrestlers or people wanting to get in the business a little bit of a blueprint of kind of how to survive almost like on the indie scene or in the backstage locker room when it comes to like an AEW and kind of get yourself out there? Because I know a lot of talents can kind of be a little apprehensive about putting themselves out there and kind of, putting themselves on the line in a more of a interaction part backstage. Does that make sense?
Sure. I think the biggest thing you can do is you have to be respectful. I'm very big on like, if you're not someone who can just read the room, maybe wrestling's not for you, or this might be a tough business for you, but like, just be as respectful as possible. I remember when I did at Shore, John Cohn, like, with like a wink was kind of like, hey, you want to get noticed, but at the same time, you don't want to get noticed. And I was kind of like, I know exactly what you're trying to say. So when the opportunity's given, when you're in the ring, try to impress as much as possible. But when you're in the back, if you're coming as extra talent, just try to be respectful, try to be polite. And I think that's in all levels of wrestling. Like, you go to an independent show, try to be respectful of the promoter, be nice, be on time, be courteous. Like, this is a job. Like, this is a job for all of us. So it's funny when I tell people, I gotta go to work. This is my job. Just again, we have an HR department. It's a big corporate place. Like, WWE is a big corporate place. The same way you wouldn't go to, if you worked at Wells Fargo and act like a fucking idiot, like, they'll fire you. If you go to WWE, act like a fucking idiot, they'll fire you. Like, so you just gotta remember that, like, just be respectful as possible and treat this as, it'll work out as good for you, as serious as you treat it, I guess. If this is just like a fucking joke to you, then, that's all it'll probably be. But if you actually care about this, you're disciplined in this, you're serious, you're respectful, I think it could really take you far.
Absolutely. And a lot of people say, like, mouth shut, ears open. Like,
right.
The veterans in the locker room and stuff, a lot of them have been around for a reason. Obviously, like, it differs. Like, independent, sometimes there's, like, people that have been training or, like, working for super long and they didn't necessarily do anything, but still, just show people the same sort of respect and be respectful. But don't be afraid to take people's advice. Listen and take in that advice. Apply that advice. Don't just, oh, I want to get on this guy's good side, so I'm just going to ask for the advice and then blow it off. You want to see people listen and then apply that advice. So then people who are like, oh, that guy's coachable. Oh, this guy, he's a really good listener.
Absolutely. Adaptability is key for sure. For sure. Yeah. We had another trivia question, guys. Justin ask this. Wrestling trivia. RVD, you got to go last, okay? You got to go last. What female in the U.S. was the first to hit the top rope moonsault? Everybody has to guess, but RVD has to go last.
In the U.S., you said, right?
In the U.S., yep.
First to hit it.
But it doesn't mean they're necessarily from the U.S. They just did it in the U.S.
They just, I guess so. No, I would say in the U.S., female in the U.S. from how he's wording it. Sounds like female in the U.S. So United States female wrestling.
Gotcha.
Why do I feel like it happened in like fucking WCW?
I was going to say Alundra Blaze. Was it Medusa?
Ooh,
Like,
that's a good guess. That's a good guess.
like I want to say Lita, but I feel like definitely someone did.
Yeah.
Someone had to.
Wasn't there a
Before-
stint? Wasn't there a stint in like classic WWF where they brought in some Joshi wrestlers or no?
That's why I was asking if it's
Good question. Yeah, that's true.
If it's not, if it's just the first person to do it in the U.S., then I would guess some Joshi wrestler probably did it first. But, but if it's an American woman wrestler,
Did they say American woman wrestler?
They said what female in the U.S. was the first to hit the top rope moonsault?
Female in the U.S.
See, that could be like a Joshi wrestler.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with Medusa.
All right.
I'll tag along and say the same because I'm thinking classic WWF.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, we'll do Joshi. Joshi. RVD, you got another?
Yeah. I'm going to say Rockin' Robin.
Ooh, Rockin' Robin. I like it. Dustin, give us the answer here. Oh, he says Japanese doesn't count. From the USA.
What? Oh. Yeah, and I'll go with the Alundra Blaze.
Yeah.
All right, Alundra Blaze then. Okay, and Rockin' Robin we got. So there we go. Give us the answer, Dustin. We all answered. So, and then he added Mae Young took the table bump in 2000. Maddie wants a "was up" from everybody. Was up. What's up, Maddie? There we go. Triple E wants my brother Marcus to be security against Obafemi still. And then Maddie wants you with Danhausen, RVD. Maddie wants you with Danhausen.
We have to have the little Hossens.
The Little Housens.
What are we doing?
He wants you with Danhausen.
No, what I mean with them.
Yeah, what are we doing with him, Maddie? What's going on? What's the deal with that?
Rob Van Hussen or Rob Van Dan Hussen?
Yeah.
Rob Van Damhausen.
Rob Van Danhausen. Ariya and Darius, I'll ask you this too. How do you? I feel like AEW is really grabbing some momentum right now, and it's like right hot off of Double or Nothing. You guys are having really good shows happening too at the moment with Dynamite and Collision happening. Do you guys kind of feel that momentum backstage and how it's all been going for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of people saying that Double or Nothing pay-per-view was probably one of the best AEW pay-per-views of all time. And, I got to work from a producer standpoint. It was pretty fucking amazing seeing the kind of matches that we're having. And, I think some other places do a little bit less wrestling and, maybe more ads. And I think Double or Nothing had like 2 or 3 ads or something like that. It was pretty just straightforward, lots of wrestling. So I think I think that's kind of one thing that people are starting to notice, that if you're a fan of like pro wrestling and I want pro wrestling, like that's what AEW is really giving people. And I think there might be a little bit of fatigue from the other place, but that's kind of why I think we're starting to really pick up a lot of steam, because I think pro wrestling right now is hotter than ever. It's getting really, really popular. So there is more of a microscope on it. When you truly look at like who's putting out like the more higher caliber technical matches, I think that's AEW right now, personally.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with that. But it's really cool when you can have like new people come in, someone like a Mick Foley especially, and go in there and be so complimentary about this is his first event he's been to with us. And for that to be a pay-per-view of that stature just kind of speaks volumes when you have people like him putting it over.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome mix there, and you can tell he's motivated and excited to be there and stuff like that. It's pretty cool to see him there.
Another thing I'm excited about is I do believe our international schedule is picking up as well too. So there's more international shows in the future. So I'm pretty excited for that. So for all the AEW international fans, like there's more to come.
And the neat aspect too is like you did the 2300 arena, but you guys have been doing such unique venues, and I think that's a really cool aspect of it too at the moment.
We just did that in West Palm Beach. It was that like golf course thing. And
yeah.
All I kept thinking about is it looked like a level from like Street Fighter, like a video game. Like there's like a wrestling ring and then like a golf course in the background. So I'm like, oh, this is like the golf wrestlers level, you know. It got me thinking that I was like, it would be cool to do like a themed show like for a wrestler, like. Just like off the top of my head, I was like, what would like Darby's be like? Would he be like in a junkyard or like some skate park, like something crazy? Like, so I was like, it'd be kind of cool to do like these random venues that like match a wrestler's character, because then it would be like legitimate like Street Fighter levels.
Do like a nitro.
Yeah,
That would be insane.
Yeah, hell yeah. Rob, what would be your unique venue? What would you do?
The beach.
I don't know. Ask my fans. That's a good question.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. What would be RVD's unique venue?
Yeah, I was thinking that dispenser.
I was thinking a certain field.
I would say what
Could be in a garden.
Oh yeah.
martial arts dojo.
Or like a marijuana garden.
I was thinking a dojo like in Twisted Perception, the comic book I wrote 100 years ago that nobody ever read.
Yeah.
What about
A
the
broken down dojo.
What about the Bloodsport game?
It'd be broken down, like broken windows. And, like nobody knows that I'm living in there.
I like it. Okay, Dustin gave us an answer. It was Beulah McGillicuddy in 1996.
Who gets that?
I guess that for the table.
Oh, okay.
She was the first
Yeah,
one.
for the table. So there it was. Well, sweet.
I
Well, this has
don't
been good.
Yeah.
Oh. No, do you guys have anything else you want to plug? Like whether it's social media or anything like that? Like it says down here, go to Sin City Squared Circle, accept applicants, SCSCWrestling.com at gmail.com. Oh, go to sincitysquaredcircle.com, Sin City Squared Circle, and then the Gmail is down there below. I'll be sure to include all those links down there too for you guys too. So when we post the episode.
I appreciate all you guys tuning in tonight. Thank you so much. Yeah, appreciate it.
Heck yeah. Rob, you got any events coming up you want to plug?
Where we're going this weekend?
Spokane, Washington.
Spokane, Washington. This Sunday the 7th, which is the Lilith convention, I believe. Right?
Oh.
Lilith.
Liliac.
Yeah.
Liliac, I think, convention. But it's a comic convention from what I understand. Yep. And boom. Yeah. So we'll see you there.
Heck yeah. Good stuff. Guys, we'll do the ref. Oh, go ahead.
RobVanDam.com.
Yes.
Unless my producer can put up a poster for my appearance.
Yeah, we can do that. And guys, check out damngoodcbd.com. Get your pre-orders in ready for that and everything as well too. So check that out. And I'll do the raffle next week for you guys early in the show. We'll spin for these two cards. It's an RVD card, and we got a Samoa Joe rookie card. So whoever did a super chat, you get in the raffle for next week. So
Did you even make it to the mailbox to mail that shit out?
I got the envelopes here, and I got all the addresses, so I just got to mail them on out. So they'll be good to go. They'll be good to go for sure. I got the process going though. I got the whole operation. I just got somebody's address today too for it, so they'll get sent out this week for sure. So, well, cool guys. Thanks for doing this.
Awesome.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks again. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you guys.
Heck yeah. We'll see you all next time here on One of a Kind with RVD. Thanks, Ariya. Thank you, Darius. And thank you, Jordan.
See you next
All right.
week.
See ya.
Boom.
Cool.